everyone. This is Pam Lenziff, a real estate professional in the state of Georgia. I'm with eXp Realty, and I'm here today to talk to you about tax appeals. So, your annual notice of assessment goes out in spring of each year. So, you've probably received yours for the tax year of 2022. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what the appeal process is. And I do get a lot of calls and questions about whether you should appeal your taxes if you feel like they're not correct, or if you feel like they're too high or have increased drastically over since last year. And my answer to you would be yes. The process is a lot simpler than you think, and it doesn't hurt to try. It takes 5 minutes to do it online. And today we're actually going to use Cobb County as an example. But if you do live in another county, I suggest that you contact me or you go online and search for the tax appeal process in that county. It is similar, but also a little different because each county has its own website. And in most counties now you can appeal online, but there is some counties that you have to go in person. And statistically, actually, 1 in 3 owners who file an appeal receive some sort of reduction in their property evaluation, and that can lock in for the next couple of years. And that tax bill that you got, which is the annual notice of assessment, is based off of the current fair market value. And we'll go over your notice shortly, and then we're going to jump right into the process. And again, I'm going to use Cobb County as an example. But if you have questions or if you live in another county, please feel free to call me, and I'll be happy to send you a link and instructions for your county's tax appeal process. So that annual notice that you receive, which is that assessment, it serves as a formal notification to all property owners across Georgia about the assessed value that is assigned to your property by the tax assessor. And it typically includes details about the property's, like I said, assessed value, also any exemptions or special assessments that are applicable. And it's important to carefully review that notice, because if you have filed for a homestead exemption, if you don't see it, that means that it wasn't processed. So let's just jump right in and go over what the annual notice assessment looks like, and then what are some of the important details on there you need to be looking for. I know there's going to be a lot of information on this annual notice assessment, and a lot of it may be confusing to you. And I've actually taken a lot of courses, and I do have a lot of knowledge about property taxes, but I will not bore you for the purposes of this quick tutorial on how to file your tax appeals. I will not bore you with exactly how taxes are calculated. If you have specific questions, feel free to give me a call. So this is an example of an annual notice of assessment. And if you live in Cobb County, it looks exactly like this. And it comes from the Board of Tax Assessors. And the first thing I want you to look at is when your annual assessment notice was given and the last date to file a written appeal. Now, this is important because you have until the deadline that is listed on your letter to file this appeal. And like I said, it takes just a couple of minutes to file it online. You can also print off a form, which I'll show you how to do that. You can print it off, mail it out. But you need to make sure that it gets to them by the 26th, because they will not extend that deadline. Or I'm sorry, I'm saying the 26th. This is just an example, but it depends on when your annual notice was given. And then this is the last date to file a written appeal. Now, again, this just states that this is not a tax bill. Do not send payment, because taxes are due later this year, or if you pay them through your mortgage, you need to disregard this. So moving down right here in the middle, you've probably looked at this and we're like, oh my goodness, look at this huge increase from last year. And we're looking at the current year fair market value. So this example here shows you what it was last year and then what it is this year. Now it looks like it's a lot higher, and it isn't. For most of you, you will see a number that is a lot higher than it was last year. And once again, it doesn't hurt to try. So they may say, no, we will not accept your appeal. But there's a process if you don't agree with their decision as well. But we can talk about this at a different time. But for now, I want you to at least try an appeal. Okay. So before we move forward with the appeal process, I want you to look at your annual assessment. And this example here is missing something very important, which is the homestead exemption. And the reason this exemption is not filled out is because this is an example of a home that is not a primary residence, and it's an investment home. So if you are receiving this notice and it is on your primary residence, make sure that the homestead exemptions are filled out. And if they're not, that means that you don't have a home exemption on your home. And we can talk about home exemptions for primary residence as well. You can call me and we can chat about this. The process is very easy. You file it once and then it just auto renews every year. But take a look and ensure that your homestead exemption is filled out. And if it's blank like this and you're supposed to have a homestead exemption on your primary residence, you need to contact them immediately to get this sorted out. And there's other exemptions as well that if you filed for, you need to make sure that's filled out as well. So it's a good idea to take a look at these numbers on the bottom. I mean, the mileage rate is how what they use to calculate your taxes, but this is, again, I won't bore you with the details of how that's calculated, but I want you to be looking at the current fair market value, and then also ensure that your homestead exemption, if it's primary, is filled out, or if you have other exemptions, that this is notated on here. And if it's not, that means that they're not applying those. And you can call me, we can talk about the process to apply for those exemptions. So first, what you're going to do is you're going to go to this website. It's again, we're using Cobb County as an example. You're going to go to cobbassessor.org and then appeals. So once you go to that website, once again, it's right here. You can take a moment to write it down. You will go down and it will say appeals, and it says the dates to file an appeal have opened. And this is for personal property, commercial, and residential. So you have two ways that you can appeal. The first way is to fill out a form. And if you look on the left side, it says forms. You can click on that and you can scroll down. And the first option is taxpayer return of your property. Second one is appeal. So make sure you click on that. Once again, I went to this website, or you can go directly to Cobb Assessor and then forms. But once we're on the website that we talked about earlier, you can click on forms and then scroll down, go down to appeal form, click on that, and the appeal form will open up for you. So you can either print that out, fill it out by hand, or you could just save it to your computer and fill it out in the computer. Now, it is very important to call me when you're filling this out because there's specific areas that need to be filled out. There's some that don't need to be filled out. It's a very simple form, but it may be confusing to someone that is appealing for the first time. So please give me a call if you have questions about how to get this filled out. I'll just go through it real quick, but I do want you to call me if you have questions. So let's take a look real quick at the form closer. You just have to save it because if you try to fill it out on here without saving it first, it's all out of line. So this is what the form looks like up close. So the appeal number you don't need to worry about, but you do need to fill out your name and ensure that you're filling out your mailing address, but this must be your mailing address. Now, if this is your primary residence, it's going to be the same as your property address, which is towards the bottom. But if it's not your primary residence, and if this is an investment property, make sure that you do fill out your mailing address where you get your mail. So if it's an investment property, this will be your mailing address, and then the property description would be down here. So in this case, we're just going to use a property as an example. You're going to fill out, the mailing address and then what city it's in, state, and then your zip code. And then you're going to go in and fill out your phone number. We don't really have home phones anymore, but this would be your cell number. And then if you want to put a work number, another number down, you can. And then you just make sure you fill out your email address as well. And then you want to click on real estate. And now I'm using this example for your either your primary residence or for your investment home. And you're going to check real estate. Your property ID number can be found on your annual notice of assessment, and it's right here. So I just wanted to show it to you. So please do fill that out because it's very easy to access it. If you've lost this form, you can contact me and I can get your property ID number. And then when you fill this out, just make sure you fill this out and then make sure you fill out the property address that you're appealing. So if it's different again from your mailing address, make sure this is accurate. Okay, it's very important. And you would, in this case, it would be the same. So we would just copy and paste. And then don't worry about filling out the account number. On specified grounds of appeal, you want to check value and uniformity. And then you must select one of the following. You would check the first box right here. Now, I do want you to call me about this because these boxes that we're checking may be a little different for everyone, but typically we would, check all that apply. We either check yes or no. So please give me a call about how to fill this part out because they may be different. You must select only one of the following. For the purposes of this process, you want to select the first box. Okay. And then down here, owner's value is assertion of assertion. This must be filled out. So this number is going to be different for everybody. So I do want to make sure that when we talk about this, we do go over it over the phone because this number is very important. But again, it would be very property specific. If you go down on property owner comments, all you have to do really is say, I do not believe my home was worth the amount indicated on the annual notice of assessment. That's all you have to say. And then under property class, you would check residential. Again, this is for the purposes of a residential appeal. And then on the bottom, where it says signature of agent, you do want to print that out, sign it, and date it with the date that you're mailing the form. Don't worry about filling out the bottom of this. Again, we're only looking at the top, skip the appeal number, real property, your property address, property ID. Don't worry about the account number. We're checking this off. And about this box, do not copy what I have here. Call me because we need to go over this over the phone because this is going to be a little different for everyone. But usually we talk about value and uniformity. So, and again, this owner value assertion, it would be less than what your value is, and you can just fill that out. And again, I can help you with this. So this is one way to fill it out. You would just print it off and you would mail it to your tax assessor's office. There's another way to apply or to file your appeal, and it can be done online as well. And if you click on this website, again, it's Cobb Assessor and then Appeals, you can file it online, and it's usually a little bit quicker. But if you do it online, you do have to find comparable homes, which they'll give you an option on about how to do this. And it's actually not hard at all. But if you need help, please call me because it is a process, and we need to find homes that are similar to yours that have sold for less. But you can skip that if you use this form and you mail it to them. But if you do it online, we're going to have to go through the process and then add the comparable homes. Okay. So you can, again, you can mail it or hand deliver it to your tax assessor's office. Those are the two ways to do it. And then with e-filing, it kind of gives you instructions on how to do it online. And if you call me, I'll be happy to help you with that as well. So you have the residential online appeal tutorial. So if you click on that, that tells you exactly how to do the appeal online. And you just click on the website that we talked about earlier, and then you would go to appeals and click on the search button. But let's go back so I can show you actually. So here's the search for property. So again, for the appeal online, we went onto the Cobb assessor's website, and then we clicked on appeals, and then you have to find your property. So you can do it by owner name, location, address, or by the parcel number. If you don't have the parcel number, you can do it by location or by your name. So I'm going to use this as an example. We're searching and it would usually pop up. And then you have your property, which would have your, make sure this is the correct property though. It has your location, and then it would have your owner name and then also your address. So make sure when this populates that this is your property. And then you would click on Appeal to Board of Assessors. And where it says Start a New Appeal, you would click on that. And then you hit Start. Okay. And then you would go down and click on Choose Appeal Type. So this is a very similar process, a very similar form than what we did right here. Except this is done online. So it makes you choose the different options that we chose in the actual appeal form, but it's online. And then we would click on here, choose all grounds that apply. You would hit value, and then I would check uniformity would be one. And then this is taxability, exemption denied, and so forth. But on this, I would check value and uniformity only. And then you hit save. And then it's going to take you to search for comparables. And this is where, this has an extra step to it, because you're actually going to search for comparables, homes that have sold for less than what your current market or what your market value is on your assessment. So if you click on Start Comparable Search, this is populating in Smyrna. This is the city. And then we have Spring Villa Condos, which is the name of the subdivision. And see how those are checked. And then this is the distance from subject. And then if you scroll down, this tells you the sale dates, which is 2022 and then 2021. So January of 2021 and December of 2022 is when it would end. And then if you go to sale price, you can change those numbers. And you can, if you're, this tells you what your value is. So you know how this says, okay, this is the value, 227. But you can change that to say, I only want to look at comparable homes that are, up to 200,000. So that way you're finding comps that are similar or comparable homes that are similar to yours, but are less than what your value is right here. Okay. So this is the part where I can help you with. We can do this over Zoom or over the phone, or I can meet with you and help you, because once you find the homes that have populated that are less than what your value is right here, then we can add them to the application, and it's very easy. And I'm just going to use this real quick to show you what it looks like. So I've selected 3 miles away from subject property, which is your property. The district is Smyrna. You don't have to specify neighborhood. You can just leave that blank. So we can just do a 3-mile radius. And then for the sales price, I did 41,000 to 61, where that actually auto populated. But for the value, I did only up to 200. And you can lower that number in any way you want. You can put low 0, so that way you don't have a minimum, and then your maximum would be 200. And note how that is less than what they're saying my fair market value is, which is 264 on here. But I wanted you to take a look at that because you want this to be less and see if you can find a home that has sold for less or has less value. So if we search, nothing is coming up. So this is a good example that the search has to be expanded. It says there's no comparable properties available. Please return and search the tab again. So if you go back to the search, we're going to have to expand this or add more specifications. So we can do 5 miles and we can uncheck. So we've already unchecked the neighborhood. And we can uncheck the sale price and see if something populates. So now we have 111 results, right? So if we're looking at this, obviously we want to find something that is under 200 and that is similar. So in this case, you want to make sure that you're looking at the bedrooms and baths and the square feet because that's what they usually use. For purposes of this, we want to look at a 3-bedroom, and I'm scrolling down quickly because as you can see, this is the bedrooms here. And I found one that is a 3-bedroom that is less than 200. So this is 150. So we have one comparable home, and then I'm going to keep scrolling to see if I can find another 3-bedroom and just select that. See, this is 200. So we found another one. And then I'm going to scroll down and find another home that is less than what the value shows. And again, if you need help with this, we can definitely do this together. And you don't have to necessarily pick a lot. The more, the better. And again, if you made a mistake, it's not a big deal. I mean, we can, it doesn't have to be exact. You're not going to get penalized for trying to appear your taxes, okay? It's something that not a lot of people actually do because they think that this would not work. But actually, statistics show that 1 in 3 owners who file appeals receive some sort of reduction. And then select checked items for the report. And then the next step would be, this is your appraised value on the assessment that you received, but you think that yours is worth 180. And you just enter that here. And then property owner comments, we do the same exact thing. I do not believe my home was worth the amount indicated on the annual notice of assessment. And then you want to put down your phone number. And oops, I want to make sure. And after you put your phone number down, we're going to fill out your email address. And then who's filling this form? This is a taxpayer. You want to check off the first box. Attachments to be included. Fee appraisal, no. Income. And again, please call me when you're filling this out because there could be some options that may be different for you. Okay. And then you would click save. And then if you have any documents that you want to upload, them. If not, you just click on skip this step. And it says, please wait for this report to be assembled. So what it does is all of the different sections are combined into one. And then after that, you would get an online appeal checklist, step 1 through 5. It says review and submit your appeal. And then if you scroll down, it says sign and submit your appeal. So make sure that you don't stop at this step right here. Make sure you go all the way down and you want to make sure that you're signing your appeal. Approve and submit. And that's it. Your appeal has been submitted. The documents and information shown below have been submitted to the Cobb County, Georgia Assessor's Office. And if you want to, I would highly suggest to write down your appeal code or email it to yourself, and also save those forms. So you have your form as a PDF file, the subject property and view form and all comparable homes. So if you look at the view form, the online appeal is very similar. What it does is when you're filling it out, it goes into a form that you would have filled out by hand. And you can use this PDF form to just download it from their website and fill it out and just mail it in or hand it to them directly. But make sure you save that form just in case. Although you have a appeal code and everything, just make sure that you download it. So that's it. This is just an example for Cobb County's appeal process. Again, if you have questions, please contact me. My phone number is 404-429-5216. I will be happy to answer any questions you may have. And if you've watched this video through the end, please know that these are just examples. They may be different for you or for your situation. And the numbers we're using and the check marks that we've put into the different areas may be different for you. So before you do anything, please give me a call. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. And once again, please do try and appeal your taxes. Most people won't because they think it won't make a difference. But the worst thing that can happen is you get a denial letter stating that your taxes won't be appealed. And there's a process that you can go through if you don't agree with that decision. But for now, let's just at least try. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and I'm always here for you if you want to talk about real estate or property taxes. Thank you so much for listening.